concerto con molti strumenti, suonati della figlia della Pietà, avanti Sua Altezza Reale, Serenissimo Federico Giovanni Nepomuceno, Principe Reale di Polonia e Elettori di Sassonia. The first time I went to Venice, I was only a lad of 18. Rumors had reached them of my great love for music, and they took me to hear the famous Figlia della Pietà. Although such a visit is generally considered part of the normal duty of a visiting noble, they had prepared a most special concert in my honor. I had heard much of the girl's accomplishments, but still, nothing could have prepared me for the astonishing beauty of that moment. I remember it still. The Prince of Poland is coming, they say. Poland? I'd not heard of such a place. Sister Madalena says it's very cold and covered in snow all year round. The prince was not what I was expecting, for most of the princes we entertain are old and fat and very ugly, but this one, he was young and beautiful, like a prince in a legend. He wore a silver coat, and his eyes were the same color as his coat. They shone like two bright coins in the center of his fine white face. He was so white, I thought it might be on account of the everlasting snow, that it had somehow affected his health, turned him as cold and white as his homeland. He walked with a slight limp. We struggled to get a look at him through the grill. His face was haughty, but not, I thought, unkind. There was a melody for Viola d'Amore, something like a child's plaintive cry, or perhaps a bird, one of those bat-winged birds that glint under the winter sun as they swoop the lagoon for fish or floating waste. The tears sprang into my eyes and rolled down my face, despite myself. The girls were invisible as angels behind their silken screen. But how I longed to make their acquaintance. I spoke with the direttore, and in the end it was arranged quite easily. Up close, he was no bigger than one of the older girls. He sat and dined with us, and I was too afraid to eat in front of those silver eyes. Then he noticed me. He held out a raspberry ice. He's speaking French with almost a German accent that made his words rough and strange. He told me to come to him, to eat with him, to enjoy myself. He wanted me to be happy, he said, and everyone laughed. But I was too afraid to take the sweet gift from him. I burst into tears, and everyone laughed even louder. Then he took me onto his knee and cried, "Silencio!" Everybody went silent and looked down at the table. He asked me my name. "Elisabetta," I said. But he said he would call me Elise. He asked me to come to Poland to be his little sister. His little sister, he only had 3 brothers and they were all terrible. I looked into his silver eyes that were the color of the sky before it started to snow. Is it snowing all the time there? I asked. He said that it was, and I thought about that, and the whole time the prince was looking at me with those silver eyes. Yes, I'll come, I said, and I wrapped my arms around his neck and gave him a kiss. The next morning, he was gone, back to his land of ice and snow. He gave me a silver thaler to keep until he came back for me. The Prince of Poland is coming, but this time he is traveling incognito. His face, aged and sagging, is badly marked with the pox. A heavy mask of white powder has settled into the crevices and cracks of his terrible face. His lips, painted in bright vermilion, gives the utterly mistaken impression of a smile. I remember this place. It was here, on the edge of the lagoon, looking out to the sea. I wonder whether they will remember me. Whatever happened to the little girl? She was very small, 10, perhaps 11. I hold out my hands to show the good sisters how small she was. So I'll beg them to forgive us. It was such a long time ago, they say. Then they put their black and white heads together and chatter like magpies. I am unable to understand the conversations that I overhear. She stood before me that night in her black orphan's dress, serious as a little bird, and there is nothing as serious as that. Her skin was terribly white, and her eyes dark as hell's mouth. She glowed like a lamp of that fine Venetian glass, filled with some precious oils that could never be used up. Light upon light, God guides whomever he will to the light. He leaves whomever he will to stray. She kissed me. Just a little beggar girl, and yet I have never forgotten her. Elisabetta, Elise. Never again have I felt anything so pure as that kiss. At last, the sisters bring out an old washerwoman. She claims to have known an old child called Elisabetta, who had sung in the coro many years ago. She died, Principe. It was the fever. Many of the children died of the fever that year. It was very bad, sir. But I do not believe it was the same child. Then the woman fumbles in her gown for a long time, and at last she produces something that she holds out in her trembling hand. A silver thaler wrapped in a red rag. A silver thaler bearing my name. With my shawl wrapped around my face and lowered against my eyes, I knew he would not recognize me. But I knew him immediately, For though he was now old and fat and very ugly, he had still those silver eyes. Had my prince come for me at last? I thought he had died of the pox, but it seems it was not so. Not unless he be back from the dead. How many lovers did I send away, thinking that he would come back for me? Foolish child that I was then. I put the coin into his hand, glad to be rid of it at last. But when my hand touches his hand, he startled for a moment and tried to look beneath the veil to catch a glimpse of my eyes. But I was too quick for him. I pulled away and wrapped the shawl across my face. Nothing for you here, Su Altezza. Nothing at all. The girl you are seeking died long ago, buried with the other forgotten girls under the black cypresses on the island of Arcangelo. Thank you.